Joining me is an acclaimed top Canadian vocal coach, Frédérik Robert. He's here today to talk about his successful career and his role as a language and vocal coach on Motherland. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Miss Christine. So nice to meet you and spend some time with you today.
Yes, and congratulations. This is your first TV series role, is that correct?
It is my first TV series. Really beautiful, beautiful experience. I've enjoyed it so very much.
Yeah, so, but you have an incredible role, like you're the language and vocal coach. So what's the language is mother tongue? That's the language in Motherland? So.
It is. It's called mother tongue, also known as Miniche, which is the actual pronunciation of mother tongue in its mother tongue in the original language. And the language was created by David J. Peterson and Jesse Sams. David J. Peterson is well known for his work on Game of Thrones, of course, The Witcher, and The 100. So he's had just a great encyclopedia of creating languages, and he partnered with Jesse Sams, who's an amazing linguistics expert. I can't really say exactly what her job is because I don't truly know, but she's a busy gal doing what she's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us more, like, what was it like working on set?
Well, I'm still on it right now. I mean, I'm not on set currently. I'm in my home. But this morning I was out at production office, so still very much in it. We're just completing our 10th episode of season 2, and it's been amazing. It's been a wonderful ride. Certainly, obviously my work. I was brought in initially to help with the vocal magic, which is the superpower of the witches on the show. So I was brought in to do that. And then as we sort of went along into the first season, they asked me if I was able to coach the new language that they were planning on getting written for the show. And the reason they asked me, of course, is because my experience as an opera singer for so many years, having sung in so many different languages, it felt for them like a natural fit. I already had a relationship with the actors. And so they went ahead and asked me if I could do it and if I felt confident in doing so. And I was so glad they asked me. I mean, I didn't even realize the amount of passion I had just around the language portion because I'd never done it before, other than, doing it for myself as a vocalist. But to actually be on the other side now, first of all, learning a brand new language that's never been written before, never been heard before. All the sounds are unique and new, and it was fantastic to be asked, and I've been along for the ride ever since.
Yes, it's exciting, and congratulations. But also too, like, you were formerly the Canadian Tenors, correct? And you're a singer, you're an actor. Do you think that skill set has helped you to work with talent, like in acting, like with the actors?
Absolutely. The work that I've put in as a singer, as an artist, as an actor, has all cumulatively built up my own knowledge to be able to, first of all, I think that I'm able to put myself in the shoes of the person that's in front of me, rather than coming from a completely different standpoint. If I was a vocal coach who maybe hadn't had 30 years of experience on the stage, I might have a different attitude about what it takes to do what the actors have to do. Mm-hmm. It's a big job. And so there's a kind of nurturing and a kind of psychology that I am used to as a singer myself. And of course, I've been teaching for 20 years. So when you've done it for as long as I have, you also begin to see the way people integrate information. And you learn that every person has their own way of taking in information. So all of these things that I've done previous to this has sort of all built up to this moment where I'm able to do this work passionately and also to my best of my ability, and I think successfully.
Mm-hmm. 30 years experience, and no actor is the same, right? It's psychology. Learning what works for her or him is so important. Yes.
Yeah, it's crucial. It's crucial to how they end up taking in the information and being able to do it on the day. So my job is not only to prepare them, but to make them feel as though they absolutely own what they're doing. So they own the vocal magic piece, either as lip singing or live singing or whatever version they have to do with their voice. I make sure that they're completely learned and ready to go, but also very confident that they can play. Because that's what it ends up being in the end, is it needs to feel like this incredible playground of where they can release into their work in an honest way, rather than, sort of being in a cerebral place. So we build in all those mechanics. That's what all the rehearsals are about. And then we just watch the magic on the day.
It's wonderful. And, I want to go back to when your passion started. You're originally from Peace River in Alberta?
Born in Peace River, and I grew up in Falher, Alberta, which is a small farming community. I believe, I think it's like under 1,000 people, and all farm town. Yeah, it's a big farm town. And my dad was the manager of a farm supply store. And my mother started, when we initially were living there, she was working for social services. And they actually ended up moving back there in my 20s. They moved back into the region, and then my mom was a secretary for École Héritage, which is the big French Canadian school there. Yeah.
Did you grow up on a farm, or Frédérick?
I mean, we grew up near fields. I mean, everything was fields. When we went and visited family, we were I had my childhood in nature, and it was, I had a really cool childhood that way. It was a very beautiful childhood in that sense. I mean, I think there's a lot of connection to nature that has continued through my adulthood due to that upbringing. And my parents, like I said, they still live up there, and they live on 10 acres of just open land in the middle of the forest, and it's amazing. Yeah.
But you're a mentor now too. Like, you're helping others, and how does that make you feel? Helping people to find their voice, find their passion. It's fulfilling. To be very frank with you, I struggled a lot with performance anxiety as a singer. So incredibly enough, even after 30 years, I could very much get into my head and sort of nearly sabotage things. So I have not a unique viewpoint, because I think a lot of performers have that. A lot of performers have anxieties and wanting to just do as best as they can to do justice to the composer or to the writer of the show or whatever. You just feel this tremendous, overwhelming feeling like you just want to get it right, whatever that might be. So for me, as a mentor, I'm aware that the job is not just to do the work, but is actually to be able to do that in a very high stake environment. So that's
on that level, my mentorship becomes very important because they can hear my story and relate that I have had my own share of challenges as a performer myself, and yet I persevered through it and still managed to perform and do, hundreds and hundreds of shows through those obstacles. So that is one component of it, because people forget that artists are putting everything on the line when they go out there and they do their work. So the mentorship is even beyond the skill sets of getting, if we're talking specifically about singers, getting the technique right, getting the language right, getting the right kind of feel in the voice, getting the support, getting the breathing. Beyond the technical, there's psychological.
Tell us about, I understand you do meditation. You've led meditation classes still, and can you tell us about that?
I don't currently run any meditation classes. I was running them at the college, which is a place where I teach, but of course we've been closed down, so it's all online. Meditating has been a huge part of my life and a huge part of the balance of my life, because of course when I was touring, it's not just doing the shows every night, it's traveling many hours between the shows and sleeping in new beds and not always being able to access the kinds of foods that feel nourishing all the time. And so there's so many components that sometimes you don't have control of in the career, and certain stresses that are inevitable. And so one of the things I had to learn how to do was to balance everything. And the only way that I discovered how to do that was through meditation. And that has been a tremendous path for me for finding peace in certain moments when there's seemingly only chaos. And I'm not perfect at it. I don't think perfection is the key to meditation. I think you try to do it as often as you can. So for instance, right now, with all the time that I am on set or coaching a client, I'm also filming a reality TV pilot, which I wrote. So I'm filming that currently. With all of those components at hand, there's very little time for meditation. There's a lot of time for just getting myself to bed when the moment arises to go to bed. But what meditation teaches you is that you don't have to be in a pure, quiet state to reach that feeling of coherence. And so you can actually practice meditation while having a beautiful conversation. I'm having a conversation with you, but there's a sense of awareness of the breath, the body, the mind, the voice, the space around me. These are all things that we can kind of incorporate. We just have to spend a split second to tune into that, and we can actually transform the moment from chaos to order.
So what is next for you, Frédérick? I know you mentioned that you're doing a project, right? A reality show. What else? You're working still with Motherland, and
yeah. So the dream is that I'm on Motherland for next season. Cross all fingers. Season 3. We'd love for that to be happening, of course. I have my clients. I mean, I've had clients again for 20 years. And since I've really focused in on being a coach, I'm so lucky. I mean, I really do have a full studio of performers and singers and actors and incredible beings who want to work with me on a regular basis. The ultimate goal is that I'm just able to balance all of those components together, of course, is to be able to hold all of that and to not wear myself completely thin. So the balancing act always remains, but I am working on a new reality TV show, of which I created. nothing new, of course. Everything in reality TV land has already been created on some form in some way. There's never any new ideas. I always say that because that's the reality. But our concept is quite interesting, and I think covers some unique points in the reality TV world. So we're focused in the concept is that we're looking for undiscovered singers who have put their dreams of singing aside for whatever reasons. So whether that be through life challenges, something potentially traumatic that occurs, or just life got in the way. And so these singers, we set out to find those singers, and we give them a chance for their day in the spotlight, to get to feel what it feels like to go through and be a singer in a really big way, as in like, we will take them, we are going to give them full on voice training, and we put them through a fashion person, and they do social media and photography. And then at the end, we also have our record producer who goes in and he creates a brand new single for this artist in their genre. And we release that single through their XOXO is our company that we're associated with, and they are subsidiary to Universal, BMG, and Warner Music. So that would get a release on one of those platforms as a single. And who knows, maybe the world will come to love one of these singers, and then maybe they get to actually have more than this one episode of being in the spotlight. Perhaps they get more out of that deal. So that's the hope. So we're filming the pilot right now with the anticipation and the hope to sell it to network or streaming. So, there's many steps left, but the general shape of the show is there. And it was my creation, and the team that came on board that supported that vision have been incredible, and I've been nothing but blessed. So at the end of the day, if the experience is just that we got to try it out and make one episode and got to experience that would be wonderful. But the ultimate beautiful bigger vision is that network picks it up, and we get to do that many, many times in a season, and help and nurture and bring light to many undiscovered singers.
Wow, so exciting. I'm so excited for you. So yeah, you have to keep us posted on that for sure. And what other services do you provide? If people want to reach out to you for voice lessons, so tell us, please.
Sure. Yeah. So, the typical work of vocal coach, where you would come in and you want to gain some exercises to help with your voice. If you want to prepare something for an audition, whether that be, TV, film, musical theater, any of those components. I've done all that work with many, many singers. I also have been very lucky to work with voices in transition, which is beings that are either going from male to female or female to male in that transition, and working with their voices. I'm not a speech therapist, which is a completely different art form and skill set, but I do have many of those components that I integrate into my work. And so that's also something that I find that I have been uniquely launched into in my career. I've had, probably about 5 clients so far that I've worked with in voices in transition, which is, it's a dream. That what a gift, right? To find your voice when you're moving into being who you fully are, to help somebody find their voice. That has been unbelievably satisfying as a teacher. And then, like I said, I just work with singers and actors, and you can find all the information on my website, www.vocalcoachcanada.com, and you can reach out to me there. If I'm not taking that many new beginners, rather than turning people away, I have actually brought on a teacher into my business who is a wonderful teacher and singer herself. And so she has been taking on a lot of my newer clients and getting them prepped. And, after a while, they can start coming and seeing me after they've gotten some of the fundamentals down. And so, just...
That's so wonderful. I mean, you're so multi-talented. I mean, and meditation is so important, to keep it as balanced as possible. And is there anything else you'd like to add, Frédérick?
I'd just like to add that I'm so happy that you're doing your work here on this planet, and that you're contributing stories to viewers and sharing various beings and what their lives are about, and I'm so grateful that you're doing the work that you do, and I just support you so tremendously in the next interviews and the next things that you do, and I hope that your show gets many viewers.
Thank you. And thanks to Leslie for connecting us. It's wonderful. So congratulations again. And I'd like to invite you to come back, in 6 months. I would love that. So.
Great. Well, hopefully I'll have some updates on Motherland, and I'll have some updates on, the Motherland season 2 will have aired at that point. We're on Disney Plus now. We're on Hulu and Freeform in the States, and I know Amazon Prime sells the series, and we're Disney Plus, kind of all over the world right now. It's kind of exciting. We're not just Canada. I know Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, France, Germany. So I know that we're I might be saying some of those places wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. Or at least Amazon Prime, I think, maybe has them in those other countries as well. But it's so exciting. I mean, this is a dream come true, and I'm just, every day I wake up, just thanking the Creator that I get to go and play some more, and somebody likes what I'm doing.
Wow,
It's
you're
awesome.
amazing. You're inspiring.